Hello, my name is Mark Monlux, and I'm going to be your host this week for the June 2nd episode of Epic Sketch Time. I'm a freelance illustrator. I live in Tacoma, Washington, and I'm a member of the Graphic Artists Guild, the National Cartoonist Society, the International Forum of Visual Communication, and Cartoonist Northwest, and the Claw Artists Guild. Bill, why don't you introduce yourself next?
Oh, wow. I'm Bill Morse. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator in Seattle, Washington, and I'm afraid I'm just a member of the Graphic Artists Guild and Cartoonist Northwest. And I also do a web comic called Rhapsodies.
Let's see. Vicho says in the group chat, hello. While he's typing in his response, Delia, why don't you tell us about you?
I live in Long Branch, Washington on the Key Peninsula. I lived out here about 14 years. And I am a member of the Pacific Art League and also the Peninsula Art League and also Two Waters Arts Alliance, which is an arts organization here on the Key Peninsula. I'm not a cartoonist, but I'm willing to learn.
Now, is the Key Peninsula down by the Columbia River, or is it over part of the peninsula?
It's by Gig Harbor.
Okay.
South and west a little bit of Gig Harbor.
So you're pretty close to Tacoma.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Lived in Seattle for 25 years before we decided to get away from it all out here.
Cool. I mean, it's embarrassing. I've lived out here for almost 20 years, and I keep having my ignorance of the fine points of the state are continually revealed to me.
Well, it's not a lot of people know about the place, I think, but you know, it's we got introduced to it through some friends, and then when we retired full time, we decided that we would like to retire out here. So we bought a place about 20 years ago, and then finally came out when I fully retired 13 years ago. So.
Oh, that must have been nice. Vicho says he is Vicho Friedli. He's an animator, illustrator from Santiago, Chile. He's animated for a couple of TV shows and web shows like Today in Marvel History which is a YouTube show. He's also the creator of a comic strips called Heads That Shine. And he says, sorry for the long text, Mark. Now, Vicho has been a regular on both Epic Sketch Time, and we also do another group of creative professionals gather on Monday. We used to meet inside Tacoma from 11 to 1 p.m. at a place called the Red Elm Cafe, and it's a group called Freelance Fandango. And now we meet online, and that's a 2-hour meeting, whereas this is only a little 1-hour meeting.
Freelance Fandango, that's quite the name.
Yeah, so the guy who started the group, a gentleman named James Stowe, who also started Epic Sketch Time, he's really good at coming up with nice catchy names. And we might have Ian join us later, though I think I got a text from him. Oh, yes, I did. Because he's got curfew in his city. Bill, remind me where Ian is.
He's in Arizona. I'm blanking on what exact city he's in, but it's a suburb of Phoenix somewhere.
So he's hitting the grocery stores before curfew kicks into shape. And he's a little burnt out by recent days' events.
I don't know. I'm waiting to see whether I'll be stuck with one again, I mean, at least I have the excuse that it's raining right now, but it's been kind of frustrating having to skip my last 2 evening walks because of this.
Yeah.
Vicho also says that the name was one of the things that made him want to register for his first meeting. He was curious what it was. So this group actually started about either 5 or 6 years ago. We started doing this long before the pandemic, and we used to do it via Google Hangout. And we've been recording these sessions and posting them up for years. Sometimes we do show and tell. Most of the time we will hold up the pictures that we're working on. But basically it's a work session with a conversation on the side. And one of these days, I swear to God, Vicho, I'm going to mail you a video camera so that we can see what you look like. And both Vicho, Bill, and myself, we have Patreon pages where you can go and see some of the stuff we're doing, as well as Instagram accounts. How about you, Delia? Do you do very much in the way of social media?
Well, I'm president of the Two Waters Arts League, so I am pretty busy with just back and forth with that. But I do a little bit. I was on Instagram, not there a lot, but I'm on Facebook a lot. I have my family is spread out all over the United States, and keeping in touch with artists in the area and artists I've known from Seattle. So not a whole lot, but more than some, and not as much as others, I guess. So
does the am I getting this right? The Two Waters Art League?
Arts Alliance.
Arts Alliance.
It was founded in 2002 by two artists out here who thought that by getting artists together that they would focus on art in the schools to enhance the kids' learning. And it's got its 501c3 designation back in 2003, and it's been around ever since. And we provide art programs for the kids in the schools, putting the STEAM back into the STEM program, basically. We have coordinators in the elementary schools, the junior high, and a couple of years ago when I came on board, we started partnering with a group out here that provides services for the elderly and doing adult art classes for them. And we sponsor an art walk every year in August, which is not going to happen this year. We usually get 60 artists or more from all over the area, not just Washington State. And so we're going to do virtual tours. One of the people on my board is a videographer, and we're going to do virtual studio tours for the artists that we have out here. So
does the group have a Facebook page?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. If you could go into the Epic Sketch Time Facebook page and post a link there, I would love to check out that group.
Okay, I will.
And with us, we now have Elena Lindquist. Elena, we don't have an audio for you, and you have a very nice picture up right now.
Thank you.
Elena, we were all doing introductions. Can you tell us where you're calling in from and what you like to work on?
I live in Gig Harbor, and I do Asian brush painting. It has been my passion for a long time. I always feel as if I'm just a novice, but nevertheless, I love doing it. And this year I've started doing, taking some online classes and learning about sketching. And I've recently started offering classes, helping, teaching kids using some of the ideas from Mona Brooks' training, and teaching kids how to see the five basic shapes and then sketch from there and color in. So that's a new thing I'm learning.
And how did you find out about the Epic Sketch Time?
I'm a member of PAL, and
Wow.
Peninsula Art League, and it was announced there, and I'm home, Zoom classes, work. So that's how I found out about it. It was announced in the e-newsletter.
Mhm. Yep, that's how I found out about it too.
Wow, I'm gonna have to contact the Peninsula Art League and thank them. I wonder if they found out because I advertised out through the Tacoma Arts listserv.
Oh, could be.
It could be.
And if do both of you subscribe to the Tacoma Art listserv?
I do not.
I have in the past. I probably still get email, but I haven't paid attention in a long time.
They send out a lot of notices. If you
Okay.
do, I suggest to anyone who happens to be listening to this and are curious, if you go to just Google Tacoma Art listserv and you can subscribe. But I would suggest that you subscribe to the digest mode. That way, rather than multiple emails during the course of the day, you just get one fat one with all the
Yeah,
notifications.
that's a good idea. Yeah, I don't get many, so I must be on, but I do hear from them every now and then.
I have to admit that I'm a new artist. Basically, I decided I took art classes when I was in the beginning, couple of years of college, but then I was busy with my career for a long time. So when I retired, I got talked into trying watercolor by someone out here. And I've been doing that for about 5 years. And then I went and I've done some oil painting with Melissa Weinman, who's an artist in Ruston, but not a lot. So I'm an art virgin, I guess you could say.
Ooh,
I do a bit of a watercolor on the side, so
Oh, fabulous!
I love it.
Good for you.
I use it mostly for character sketches, and I also like to paint whenever I'm visiting my parents in Maine. So
Oh wow, yes. Where in Maine?
it's about 2 miles north of Portland. Damerscott, ever hear of that?
My brother lives in Maine, so and he's been out there for about 35 years. So
Very cool.
yeah, his wife is from a little town in Maine, and that's where they met. And so they've been living out there. They live in Augusta.
So both Bill, Vicho, and I, during the month of May, we were doing something called the May challenge, where every day during the month, you were asked to draw a mermaid using a
Oh, wow.
vertical prompt.
Wow.
And Bill decided to do them all in watercolors. We want to show off a couple of those, Bill?
Oh, certainly. Yeah,
Wow.
this is how I got into it last year as well, because very frequently, while watercolor is my main non-virtual medium, I still can slack off quite a bit on it because most of my professional stuff is digital. And so I started entering Mermaid so I wouldn't waste my trip to Maine with about three mediocre pictures before I got back into the swing of things. So anyway, here's the first one.
Wow.
Oh, fabulous. Oh, they're
Wow.
beautiful. Wow.
And you
Cool.
scanned all of those and posted them on your Instagram account so people can go there and check them out.
That's correct.
Hmm.
And
They're lovely.
thank you. Yeah, because as I said, it's sort of a case of where it's like riding a bicycle, but despite everybody saying like the riding the bicycle line, it doesn't mean you have to do laps every now and again. And let's see which one is.
Wow, they're
Wow,
magic.
they're wonderful.
Yeah.
That one was I think I focused a little bit too much on the fish for that one, but and oh, that one's a favorite of one for me.
With the crab, yeah.
The
Yeah,
crab.
and
Oh my, wow.
oh, this one is probably my favorite. The one with the statues.
Wow. Where do you get your
Very-
ideas from?
Well, they give us a series of prompts
Oh, I see.
that and oh, these two are one of my favorites as well. And so for example, this one is for treasure, and this one the prompt was treasure, this one the prompt was shark. And so it gives and sometimes it's sort of trying to think of ways to avoid the cliche. So for example, whoever came up with the prompt list didn't think very hard. So
Yeah, they didn't have anything for Mother's Day. They had like the wrong word. Everybody else pretty much skipped the prompt and decided to do a Mother's Day type illustration.
yeah, I pretty much stuck with the prompts because it was getting to the point where I sort of thought that added to the challenge.
Wow.
And that's the batch of them, unless you want to see last year's.
I want to do a little bit of showing off, Bill.
Okay.
Yes.
So I decided to use an application on my tablet called Procreate.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And so
Yeah.
this is what it does. It remembers every stroke you drew.
Wow.
Wow.
And so this is my preliminary sketch. And the prompt for this mermaid was smartphone.
Oh, how wonderful.
Oh, that's fabulous.
And this application is very much like a Photoshop, and then it has layers that you can control.
Oh my goodness.
So both the white,
Wow. That's interesting.
That's very fun.
Wow, that's great.
that was a lot of fun. And you can see all of those on Instagram. Now, Vicho, if you check out his Instagram, not only was he following the prompts and doing a mermaid, but he was also doing another challenge where he was doing a caricature every day.
Oh, good Lord.
Uh,
Wow.
And he was mixing all that together. So, Vicho says to everyone, Bill, could you share your Instagram account so that they can see all your mermaids for the, see the mermaids there for Mother's Day? The prompt was ashamed.
Oh, right.
I think he wants you to go in and do a screen share on your Instagram account, and that way you can.
Oh, yeah, just a second. Going.
I don't know, you gotta pull up the page first.
Okay, so yeah, sorry, where's that? I can't because you disabled it, Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. Let me turn that on. Try it now, Bill. You should be able to do it.
Okay. And so this is my one for ashamed.
Wow.
One of the fun things I've been doing with both years of mermaid was gradually I developed a small cast of mermaids. And so this particular mermaid is named Doris, who has all the bad luck.
Oh, it's terrific.
Yeah.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
noticed that in your, I don't know, portfolio too, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here, and I gave her a bit of a story. So here,
Outcast.
her leaving the water city for whatever she was ashamed of, And here she is after with Adrift, where she's
Okay.
alone with some penguins.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Would you like to see Vicho's characters mermaids?
Yes.
Okay, let me pull up that page. I'll grab the screen grab. And so can you see this page now?
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
apparently this was for Brooke Shields. And
Oh, look at that. Wow.
let's see, who did he do for?
Idina Menzel.
Yeah, though I like her best in Wicked.
Yes. Oh, Annette Bening. Wow. Looks just like her.
Wow.
Oh.
I have no idea who this guy is.
I think he's the guy who played
Oh, he says it's Nonso Anozi from the Zoo TV show.
Oh, he was in Game
Oh.
of Thrones.
yeah, didn't he play the what's his name in the second season? The merchant who is trying to woo Daenerys.
I think so.
Wow.
Oh,
Talented people.
I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a very nice.
That is very cool.
Wow.
And one last one. Let's see. Oh, this is the guy from the IT show.
Oh, yes.
What was it called? The
It Crowd.
the IT crowd. Yes. I particularly like this one.
It's beautiful.
I keep meaning to do fan art with, deliberately doing fan art with those characters because I do not know why, but I did a picture of, I did a Instagram post with pictures of all three of them, and that, for reasons I do not understand, was my most successful Instagram post.
What makes, never used Instagram. What made it successful? Most people looked at it, or you sold a lot, or?
With likes and people just looking at it, I assume because the show is more popular than I thought it was.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes it's just being lucky with a tag. Normally I'm lucky if I get 30 likes and 500 eyeballs, and this one went over 10,000 with.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
What do you aim to do with your art? I mean, when you get the likes, what does that lead to?
Well, with any luck, people, fans who are either interested in my product or potential employers.
Bill has a web comic that he promotes on his Instagram called Rhapsodies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a story-based comic that's got dozens and dozens of characters in it. And so by putting out something every day on Instagram besides his cartoons, he's pulling in he's widening his viewership so that when he eventually goes to sell his comics in book form, he might have a larger buyer base. That's one of the things I do with my illustrations. If you go to my Instagram, I love doing reviews of movies in a cartoon format.
Oh, fabulous.
And I started doing that back when I used to mail out before the internet, I used to mail out postcards to my clients, and I would send one out every 6 months or so. But when the internet came along, I switched over to email. But in order to not be annoying with my emails and make people drop me from their list, I made sure that my email always contained an original piece of art. So I started doing the movie reviews as a way to maintain connections with my existing clients
Sure.
and kind of build up, it was really more for that a marketing tool. And as the years have gone on, then along comes Twitter and Facebook and all these other ways to show something that I like to do anyway that lures in potential clients because they become familiar with your work.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I was already doing marketing and spending time and effort in one direction. This was just another way of doing it. Plus, since I started doing that, I've compiled, I've printed 2 books so far. The first one's all sold out, and I'm working on the next 2 right now. And there is a new message here from Vicho. He says that he's going to see what he can do about getting a video camera. And that it was very frustrating for him once he was the most popular Instagram post he had was a photograph of a celebrity. No one even read why I posted the photograph. They just liked the photo. So
it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. And half the time I get my best picks from just name dropping. So for example, before they closed up for the shutdown, I used to take full advantage of the 2-for-1 deal at this local video store. And I used it as a way of seeing stuff that I'd never seen or intended to see. And as Instagram fodder, I would post the posters of those movies and say that I'd seen them, and and having tags with all of the talent on it. And so based on that, I would usually get those would get a huge amount of eyeballs.
I'm kind of curious, Delia, what type of projects are you working on right now? Do you have anything to show us?
I don't right now. Everything is out. I have a studio outside and I can't get internet in it. So I'm in here. So, but I'll be happy to show you some stuff next time.
Awesome. How about you, Elena? What are you
Give
working
me 30 seconds to grab up some things.
on? Okay.
Yeah, I've been living in an artistic desert for a few months, so I had to have surgery, and then we were out of the country, and I've been trying to get my mojo back.
Which country were you out of the country to be in country?
South Africa,
Oh, wow.
Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Botswana.
That's very cool. My parents did that as one of their annual trips. Apparently there's a incredibly unique ecosystem in the north area right between it and Botswana.
Yeah, we did safari. We travel on these things with a group called Overseas Adventure Travel. They're part of Grand Circle, but you go into the villages or the towns and go to the schools, meet the kids, play with the kids, and then do a day in the life, and you sit and visit with the villagers and they talk about their way of life. So
very cool.
You did that in South Africa?
Yeah, and they never have any more than about 15 people. So we had 12 this time. We got back just before everything hit the fan here, March 6th.
Yeah.
I was invited to South Africa to learn about what apartheid was.
Oh, were you? How interesting.
I was a tour guide at the United Nations at the time when apartheid was pretty serious stuff. And a very
Yeah.
wealthy couple invited me to come and see that it was really okay.
Did you go?
I did. On a
Fabulous.
whim, I just like, I got to do this. And
Yeah.
I think, how could I have flown all the way across the world, shown up in a place? What if these people didn't show up, but they did? So,
Yeah, it's interesting. All I know about modern South Africa comes from this comic strip called Madam and Eve, which is kind of a South African Doonesbury.
uh,
And
interesting.
I find it interesting sometimes how reading the local comic strip is a way of being introduced to politics and culture.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
it's
So
a
you
great
have-
idea.
Though you have to be careful because since they're because it's
Censored?
a comic strip, you have to remember that everything in it is exaggerated.
Oh, that's interesting. When I was in South Africa, everything was censored.
Uh-huh.
yeah, then, yeah.
So anyway, I'll show you some of the things I've been
Ooh,
doing.
beautiful.
That's one of the newest things I've just done. And
Oh, that one
That's
turned out
lovely.
very nicely.
thank you. And
Nice.
Nice.
so a lot of times these are the originals, but I'll take my art and I'll transform it a
Could
little
you
bit.
hold the last one up closer to the camera? I want to take a look at some of those brush strokes. That's really nice.
Oh, thank you.
Because you have to commit to that stroke. So
Yeah.
Yes.
How long have you been doing this?
Execute it. How
How
long?
long
what?
have you been doing this, Elena?
A long time.
now,
But
you-
I'm you would call me an accidental artist. I started painting because I had acne in my mid-20s, and somebody had suggested I had repressed expression, and which was true. Which was
So
true.
that's mostly inspired by Sumi E style, or is it your
That's
own?
right.
Cool.
So it began as Sumier, and really I had no clue what I was doing at all, but I found this wonderful teacher in New York, Paul Siudinsky, who wrote a book called Meditation in Ink a long time ago. And I just practiced the strokes, and I found that I could really get calm and centered from the way,
well, thank you
from
for
just practicing the strokes. So it's a kind of calligraphic way of painting.
Right.
I think there is a Sumier organization somewhere
There is
around
here.
in the South Sound.
Yeah,
Yes.
there is.
Did you know Rini Moriarty?
Yes, I know her name. I don't
Yeah,
know. Did she die?
She did. She passed away a few
Yeah.
years ago, yes.
Yeah, I knew her name. These are just some fun things.
Oh, that's cool. There you go.
And then
Oh,
is a rose, and I've been painting roses forever and ever, and I'm still trying to understand them. And this is a more modern version of roses.
Ah,
no, good job on the shading with that last one. One thing I've been
Yeah.
teaching myself
Thank you.
lately is not to use white. And so it's a big transition from going from getting your shades of pink, baby blue or whatnot by adding white and moving over to just watering down reds till they're nothing but pink.
mhm.
Well, mostly when I've painted, it's I just thought about shape.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm thinking purposefully about color and all kinds of things that never exist. I didn't know how to do it, didn't think about. So I was always aiming for a good composition and the shape. And I also thought there was just one style of brush stroke, just one brush that you could do everything with.
Yes.
And now
Yeah.
I'm learning all these different techniques, and it's interesting. Yeah. So those are some of the things I've done. Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you for asking.
No. I'm glad you shared.
Thank you.
I'm in the midst of inserting several images I did for a storyboard
Mm.
into I create a PDF file that's got the image here and then the audio here and then a description of what the visual is doing here. And it's not exactly frame by frame, but there are a lot of images and I'm in the process now of
Blending them together?
putting them all into the layout. Like it's like doing a little mini book.
And it'll talk?
Oh, it won't talk. Well, this is for later on. I do a lot of whiteboard videos for my clients where there's a hand going across the screen and there's narration over the top.
Okay.
So I have a YouTube channel and I've done dozens of these. Sometimes I'm hired by an agency and then I'm flown to their studio and then I do the drawings there once we've gone through the storyboards. And sometimes I'll do them here in town. Finally, I got to the point where I'm doing them here in town. For a while there, for about 4 years, I was always flying down to Carlsbad, California, which, you have to, first I fly down to San Diego, then I rent a car, then I drive up to Carlsbad for an hour, then I have to stay overnight and then work on I have to, the day before, draw all the images again, full size in the layout so that I have the muscle memory because I have to draw with my arm outstretched like this and not over the top looking at details. So you have to kind of remember how you're drawing things.
Was that with Hay House?
With Hay House?
Well, there's a publisher in Carlsbad area.
Oh, no. This is through a company called Scratch Media. And their main client are sporting goods, golf clubs and Dick's Sporting Goods and tailor-made golf clubs. So I've done a lot of TV commercials that were only aired in the California region.
Oh, okay.
The most recent whiteboard video I did was for the Thurston County area, and it was a video to promote people submitting information for the census and how important that information was. And so this one is for an app, and I can't show it off yet. So
Yeah.
But and I'm like 2 days past due on it. I meant to have it done last Friday. I feel kind of bad about that.
I have some. So I'm going to read you something. I think it fits your lifestyle. And I will read it. It's I used to write about how to create opportunities for success online. Anyway, it says success means fulfilling your own dreams, singing your own songs, dancing your own dances, creating from the heart, and enjoying the journey. Trusting that whatever happens, it will be okay. Go and create your own adventure. Sounds like you and the others have lived your dreams.
Yeah, I've been drawing as a freelancer since I graduated from college back in 1985. So I have been living the dream. I draw pictures for a living.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sounds like somebody's got a project going on somewhere.
Yeah, it's this apartment that's been going up across the alleyway that
That's annoying.
yeah. And there's several times where it's compounded with loud flamenco music.
You don't feel like putting a rose in your teeth and dancing around your place?
Are you saying that you got some Hispanic workers who prefer the mariachi channel in town? And
Yeah, pretty much.
well, Bill, you might have to do what I do and invest in some headphones that you can plug into your computer, and that way you don't hear any of the background noises, or rather the people around you don't.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like there's only one lone guy putting in some overtime right now.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I assumed, because it was considering I have not gotten the phone announcement yet, I don't think there's going to be a curfew tonight, but which is a relief, since there were some rather disturbing noises before I was going to bed around 11 o'clock last night.
Is that in downtown Tacoma?
Downtown Seattle.
Downtown, oh, yeah.
Bill lives over in the University District.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
And while it's cleaned up very much, and much as I love it dearly, despite all its warts, it is not known for being one of the safer neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
And I live in South Tacoma in an area called Fern Hill.
Okay.
I work not that far away from there.
Oh, you have?
I teach school in the Franklin Pierce School District. So
Okay.
Sometimes I drive home, go through Fern Hill. Have you been to that restaurant in Fern Hill?
Oh, yes. That's actually half a mile from where I live. It started off with a place called Little Jerry's, and then they opened up a little second place called Tibbetts, and
That's right.
Yeah, they got some pretty good reviews.
Yeah, I read the reviews. Yeah.
But my wife we don't eat there because she is lactose intolerant.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of their dishes have cheese in them.
Mm.
So she tends to
What's the name of the place?
There are two restaurants. One is called Little Jerry's, and it's a Seinfeld themed breakfast place. It's a really tiny place too. I mean, yes, the post office closed down next to it, so they moved. They now have more tables. It used to be that they would only have like 3 indoor tables that could feed 2 people each, but now they're much bigger. And then on the other side of the parking lot, there's a place called Tibbetts, run by the same owner, and that's Tibbetts, I think, or it could be ITS.
I think ITS.
ITS, and they do more. It's hard to say when they're opened up these days. I think they're definitely doing takeout.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're allowing people to come in and do sit downs.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe soon. They're asking.
So my wife, her employer, their head administrator pretty much called in and said, okay, we want anyone who can possibly, she's been telecommuting, and they want everyone who can possibly telecommute to remain telecommuting through the end of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I expect to be happening.
But, there's still she's got some resources that she can only access at her office. So she might have to go in a couple times. But right now, she actually has been enjoying working from home quite a bit.
I think a lot of people are finding that.
Yeah, it's a catch-22, because I mean, I joke that I've been in quarantine for about 10 years, but And so to a certain extent, it hasn't affected me, except for the fact that it being mandatory has a bit of psychological weight.
Hmm. I like
Yeah.
it. I mean, but it is a stretch for me. I teach school, so it's very hard.
Oh, wow. Are you doing video then? Video classes?
Yes, a little bit. Mostly I'm just call the families a lot and tell them what they
Yeah.
need to do.
Yeah.
There's in case you're interested, there is another app similar to Zoom called ManyCams. And for people who are doing education, especially with smaller children, it's really suitable because ManyCams has a much more informal, friendly interface.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
And
you.
it also allows for you to have multiple cameras doing multiple presentations.
Oh,
So
cool.
instead of having other people around you like we have here, you can have, like, say, a lesson plan up here. You can have a little video going on over here.
Oh, wow.
So basically, it allows you to show many cameras from your computer. And that's why
Cool.
it's called ManyCams.
Yeah, we have a terrible program in my district. We're not allowed to do Zoom with kids. We're doing a program called Canvas, and my mind does not work correctly for that program. It's very linear, and I don't understand how it works. I can't be creative in it, in
Yeah.
that platform. It's very clunky and it just doesn't work for me. So I'm gradually figuring things out, but very slowly. Yeah, I think the software you use can make a really big difference. There are things where you can flow and you're just having fun. And then there are others, it's like, I am lost in that world. It does not make sense to me.
Well, one of the things that we've been doing because of the school closure out here is we have put together art project bags, and there's an organization called Food Backpack for Kids.
Uh-huh.
And we go to sites with them, and when families come to pick up the food, we give them these art projects.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's been really, we just thought, what's going on here, because I have friends out here who teach, and they're just tearing their hair out because it's not working really well for them either. And the families that have got more than one kid, it's crazy. So we thought they needed diversion. The first time we didn't do enough bags, and we ran out in about 45 minutes. And most of the parents said, oh my gosh, we're going to get this done today. We're going to start on this right away. And then this last time we did it, we had twice as many, and we gave out nearly all of them. So we started out with going to Evergreen Elementary School as a trial, and now we're going to go to the sites where they deliver for other schools. And then one of my coordinators works with the middle school, and she is really excited because her daughter has developed a lot of art projects online for Delridge Neighborhood Development in Seattle, and she has given us those for the middle school kids and just said take them and use them. So we're feeling pretty good about being able to provide that kind of distraction for
That's great.
them.
Have you heard of a nice little fun shop in Tacoma called Tinkertopia?
No.
Oh, you will love this.
Tinkertopia?
Tinkertopia. And what they do is it's called a creative reuse center.
Right, it's in downtown.
Right. So let's say you're a plumber and the building codes have changed. And now this nozzle, the F22 nozzle, is no longer legal. you need to use the F23 nozzle, but you've got like 1,000 of these F22 nozzles. What are you going to do with them? You can't recycle them. You can't, you know, well, you can donate them to Tinkertopia, and Tinkertopia will put them in the bin and then sell them as art supplies.
Oh, wow.
And they gathered stuff from all sorts of businesses, everything from, you know, those little squares of carpet remnants to yarn to sewing fabrics that people or patterns that people dump out of their attic, even old photographs. If you have something that's just been sitting, doing nothing, that you thought, what am I going to do with this? You give it to Tinkertopia, and they have people come in and make stuff out of it. One of the things that happened was they quickly discovered that since they had some workshop areas, they could have little work parties with kids, and they would hire out their rooms. So instead of taking your kids to Chuck E. Cheese for the afternoon, you would take them to Tinkertopia and they would make stuff. And they have all sorts of, like, kids can make this thing called a scribble robot, where it's this little wind-up robot that you make, and you attach a pencil to it, and it goes like this, and it scribbles all over a piece of paper.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Wow.
And he's got a wonderful Instagram page, and he's been making kits for people to make. He made this, his most popular kit right now is a meme cat. And it's nothing more than like a little tube of paper with some wire rounds that you can make some feet and a tail, and then you glue a cat's face to the front of it. And those have just been flying off the shelves.
Oh, that's fabulous.
And he comes
Is
up with,
Is it open now?
it's not, in a way, you can contact him via his phone number, and he's also got, he uses his Instagram account to post up the latest items that have come into the store.
Oh, interesting.
And so he'll say, oh, look, someone dropped off this painting easel. And then so someone will call him in and say, hey, I want that easel. He'll tell them what the price is. And a lot of the stuff only stays there for a day. But a lot of stuff goes in there and lingers. And so you can, it's such a crazy shop to walk around in.
Oh, it sounds fabulous.
But if you're looking for interesting ways to supply your art supplies, the way he sells stuff is by the bag. You can buy a big bag like this for whatever the price is and just fill it up with anything.
Well, it seems like I'm going to have to make a trip there. Take my coordinators with me.
I think that's a great idea. I don't know if they're open yet,
Well, we'll find
but
out.
I would suggest you check out his Facebook page and his Instagram account and reach out, because I'm sure they love doing stuff with kids and kids programs.
Cool. Well, I've got to get going. I have to make dinner. So do you meet at 4:30 just to share art? Is that the goal?
We basically sit here and draw and often share tips. Usually we're a bunch of cartoonists, and we're usually drawing at the same time while we're talking. I've certainly been working. And we meet every week here at 4:30, and it's an hour session, just like this. And there's also another meeting for a different group called Freelance Fandango. And that group meets on Mondays, except for federal holidays, from 11 to 1 o'clock. And that's a 2-hour working session. And that's gone international as well. Sometimes we get, today we only had like 6 or 7 people, but we've had as many as 22 there. And I think we've had as many as 8 people in here, but usually it's a small crowd of around, anywhere from 3 to 6. I want to thank everyone for coming, and I'll see you next week at Epic Sketch Time.
Okay, very good. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, Bill, will you hang on?
Sure.